One thing I realized that I don't have that I had last time, maybe it's in here somewhere. I don't have a copy of the opening statement.
I can share my screen and it will pop up if you would like to do that.
Okay, I thought we had one from last time, Jabra, so I was just trying to be a little more proactive on that. But yeah, we can do that.
Or I could email it to you. But I'll share the screen. Stephanie, I just want to make sure you'll push the record button soon.
Yes, I pushed it already. My screen says you're recording this meeting, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe it also shows up in the chat that I pushed record, I believe.
Yes.
So I'm going to share the screen. Here you go. Just a second.
Oh, I have the agenda.
Yeah. Can you see the screen?
I do not see.
I don't see it.
Okay, let me try again.
But now I have the agenda, though. I don't have the public hearing statement piece was the one sheet. So if you want to just email that while we're going through the other parts.
Yeah, I will email it to you. Just a second.
All right, so then I've got chat window open. If there's something that needs to be said, you can type that in there. I think what we'll do is what we did last time, and that is if there is a question or a comment, raise your hand. And then what I did last time was I put in the order that we were going to call everybody to make sure that we had had seen you. So with that, let's call the meeting to order here of the Beaverton Traffic Commission. It is 7:06. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and for those online as well, visitors in that part. First off, we need to have a roll call, so we'll run through that. Commissioner Brown? And just for clarification, the people that are, those are the visitors, the ones without a screen view right now?
They should be. I don't think you're going to be able to see everybody at the same time like we do on Zoom. Only when you talk do you show up.
Okay, so Commissioner Brown, then I do not see Commissioner Henderson.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Cohn.
Present.
Oh, thank you. Vice Chair McClean.
Present.
Commissioner Bobadilla.
Present.
Thank you. And Commissioner Urbanski.
Present.
Excellent. Chair Conway is present. So I believe then clarification, Commissioner Brown is present or is not? Okay, so Commissioner Brown is not present then. Thank you. Next up is visitor comment. This is a period where we allow comments for those making a public statement for something that is not on the agenda at all. Stephanie, do we have anyone?
No.
Okay, thank you. Next up then would be staff comments. Mr. Khasho.
Jabra, you were muted.
Okay.
Thank you. I should probably help with that.
Sorry about that. I just want to mention that I emailed you written testimony that we received after we mailed the packet to you. And I want to emphasize there was an email at the end that contained 4 emails in it. And those emails actually were from businesses on First Street that they are in agreement of the street closure. Just want to make sure you guys have read those emails and the testament.
Yes, thank you. I received my copy, so very good. All right, anything else, sir?
No, that's it.
Okay, next up would be the consent agenda. This would be for the meeting minutes of the last time we met, which was June 4th. We did not meet in July. I would make a motion then, and we approve the consent agenda consisting of the meeting minutes from June 4th, 2020.
Second.
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Henderson, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think you need a roll call.
Oh, thank you. I think we did that last time. You're right. All right. So Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Cohn?
Aye.
Vice Chair McClean?
Aye.
Commissioner Bobadilla?
Aye.
Commissioner Bansky?
Aye.
And Chair Conway, aye. Motion passes 6-0 with one not present. Thanks, Paul. Good reminder. Okay, next up, public hearing. We have two items on here. 807 parking restrictions, Southwest Hall Boulevard at the library, and 808 temporary street closure on First between Washington and Watson. Moments here. Well, whoops, wrong screen. All right, then. The Traffic Commission will now hold a hearing on TC numbers 807 and 808 regarding parking revisions of Southwest Hall Boulevard and temporary street closures on Southwest First between Washington and Hall. Hearing will begin with a report from the city traffic engineer, followed by testimony from the person who submitted the proposal. The traffic engineer's report will be applicable substantive criteria and the reasons behind the recommendations. We will then hear testimonies from other interested parties. If you wish to testify, please contact our city recorder and when given permission to speak on the phone or through video. Your evidence and testimony must be directed to the criterion section 6.02.060 determined to be applicable by the city traffic engineer or other criteria, current city, metro, TriMet, state, and federal laws or policies which you believe apply to this decision. After this hearing is closed, the commission will deliberate on the evidence received and make an oral decision to approve with conditions, or deny the proposal. The decisions will not be final until the final written order is signed by the chairperson. All persons who testify will receive a written notice of the final decision of this commission. Decisions of the commission are recommendations to the city council and become effective after approval by council. Typically, traffic commission recommendations appear on the consent agenda of the council and are approved by the council without discussion. City council ordinarily does not conduct a public hearing on such recommendations. Any decision of the traffic commission may be appealed to the city council. When an appeal is properly filed, a separate hearing will be scheduled before council. Any appeal must be filed with the city recorder within 10 days of the date of the traffic commission's final written order. The procedures related to the written appeals are available at the Office of City Traffic Engineer and the City Recorder. That reading will apply to both of our hearings. We'll begin with TC 807 and begin with staff report. Mr. Khasho.
All right. The city main library is starting a curbside pickup service during the COVID-19 pandemic, as city buildings are closed to the public. Library staff requested reserving the parking on the east side of Southwest Hall Boulevard, south of 3rd Street by the library building. The service will be offered much like the grocery and takeout food services that have been in place during the pandemic. Library patrons will make an appointment for a 15 to 30-minute window of time in which to pick up library materials that have been checked out to them by prior arrangement. When they come to their appointment, they will pull up to the curb of Hall Boulevard just outside the library building, and staff will take the items to the car of patrons, or patrons will get out and take the material of tables that are set up by the curb. Patrons will also be able to walk or bike to the curb area for their appointments. The reason this location was chosen for the service instead of the parking lot, since there is a large conference room with a door to whole Boulevard, that conference room can be used as a staging library material for pickup, and it's just a few steps from the curbside parking on Whole Boulevard. The short distance between that conference room and Whole Boulevard will provide an efficient and safe service. During field visits to the site, staff have observed parking during weekdays and weekends. It was observed that during weekdays, there is a low demand for parking, and this is due to the pandemic and also the closure of the city park. On Saturday, parking kind of moderate, and it changes. You know, some Saturdays you'll see it is moderate, sometimes it's low, depending on what time of the day. But recently there was more customers coming to the farmers market, and it's consistently been moderate. It was also observed. Currently, we posted temporary no parking signs for the curbside pickup under the city traffic engineers authority, and we observed that with these signs being posted, still there is ample of parking spaces available on both sides of the street. On Saturdays, it gets a little tricky, but it's not bad. Staff is proposing to restrict parking except for the library curbside pickup on the east side of Southwest Whole Boulevard, just south of 3rd Street. And this parking is for approximately 125 feet. This request will be until the end of December of this year. This will allow for efficient and safe library curbside pickup service. So we're asking the Commission to approve this request. And if past December, we are still in the emergency mode, we will come back to the Traffic Commission and ask for an extension. That's all I have on this issue.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right. Stephanie, are there any visitor testimonies for this one?
No, sir.
Very good. Thank you very much. All right. Next up would be staff rebuttals to any or comments, follow-up comments from visitors. So with that then in mind, we will close the public hearing portion and have any discussions, deliberations. Commissioner Henderson?
Yes, I was just curious, the method of signage, is this going to be temporary A-frames, or are you going to actually bolt in signs into the concrete that can be changed for later?
They will be unofficial signs. I mean, if you looked at the signs we have, they're temporary, but they're kind of it's the same as the permanent signs we're going to have. So it will say no parking except for library curbside pickup.
Okay.
This way you'll have more people obeying the rule than being on a barricade or a type A frame.
Okay.
Excellent. Commissioner Bansky?
How many cars can park in that area waiting for pickup? Because really my question is, if it's only maybe 4 or 5 cars, will there be a tailback of people, you know, waiting, and you'll cause congestion further up on Hall Boulevard as people are waiting their turn?
This was discussed with the library staff, and that's why they made the appointments 15 to 30 minutes apart. So you could have up to 4 cars at a time, and the window frame is 15 to 30 minutes, so you will never have a queue.
Okay.
And I observed it's going on at this time. There hasn't been any queues or any traffic blockage from doing this.
Okay.
Excellent. Anyone else? Either some other comment? Okay, with that in mind then, I would make a motion to approve as written. Let me go back here then and do this. Oh, sorry, let me grab the other sheet here. Make a motion to approve as written parking restrictions Southwest Hall Boulevard at the library east of the hall. Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
I need a hand or a wave. Who was that?
I'll second.
There you go. Commissioner Henderson made the second. Thank you. All right, roll then. Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, final deliberation, anyone? Okay, Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Cohn?
Aye.
Vice Chair McClean?
Aye.
Commissioner Bobadilla?
Aye.
Commissioner Bansky?
Aye.
And Chair Conway, aye. So motion passes 6-0. Excellent, thank you. Opening statements again apply then for TC 808. Closure of first between Hall and Watson. We'll begin with staff report again. Mr. Khasho.
All right. In June of this year, the City Council adopted Resolution 4660, a temporary program for business use of rights-of-way and parking lots during the COVID-19 emergency. Through this resolution, the City Council adopted the Open Air Beaverton Recovery Program. The program would allow eating, drinking establishments, recreational personal services, and retail businesses to temporarily expand into private parking lots and the parking lanes of city streets with approval from the City of Beaverton. The expansion into the right-of-way would assist businesses to accommodate the regular number of customers while maintaining the required social distancing measures to mitigate the risk associated with the COVID-19. The program also calls for the closure of Southwest First Street between Washington Avenue and Watson Avenue to traffic to allow business expansion into the streets if most businesses in the area approve of this closure. The statement in the report was written this way, but if you read through the program, it says it requires 50% of the businesses to approve of the closure. And so far, we had 6 businesses that they're on First Street within that section that they all approve of the closure. So we have 6 out of 7. The Central Beaverton Neighborhood Association Committee and the Beaverton Downtown Association supports the closure of First Street. Other jurisdictions throughout the country have adopted similar programs and they've been successful. The request is to close First Street between Washington Avenue and Watson Avenue through October 31st, 2020. This date actually is the sunset date for the Open Air Beaverton Recovery Program. Since the street closure will last more than 30 days, which exceeds the authority of the city traffic engineer to approve temporary traffic changes, therefore formal approval is requested through the Traffic Commission process. During the street closure, the city will provide and install the required traffic control and detour signing. There will be an obstructed space that will be maintained on one side of the street to allow for emergency vehicles access. If the program is extended past the end of October, the issue will be brought back to the Traffic Commission for an extension. But I believe it has to go through the City Council too before we do this, because they have to expand the overall program. So we're asking the Commission tonight to approve the closure of First Street.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Are there any questions first of Commission? No. only see a couple of pictures, so if I missed someone, my apologies. Next up then would be the visitor section. Stephanie, how do we?
First up, we have Paul Thornton.
All righty, thank you. Paul, I can't tell which one you're on. If you would unmute yourself, please, and begin by stating
Right here.
name, address, and whether you represent yourself or a party, and whether you are for or against the proposal.
My name's Paul Thornton. My address is 12420 Southwest Milliken Way. I am a business owner, and I own the business Thornton Family Coffee Roasters. I am abstaining my vote, or my approval or disapproval on this.
Okay, so you just want to make sure that you're neither for or against as part of the...
Correct.
Okay. Now, technically, though, Mr. Khasho, that's just a statement as the part of the... So is that as part of the... Sorry, Paul. Is that as part of the Downtown Beaverton Association? Because you're not actually on that street, though.
No, but I was asked the question.
Okay,
So-
very good. So, Mr. Khasho, how would that, I understand that part, just for the record, then, what he was asked as part of the Downtown Association is not actually on the street, is...
This does not affect the decision in either way, because he mentioned he's not in favor or not in favor. So he
Okay,
abstained.
all right.
I mean, the focus will be on the businesses that truly abut that section that will be closed.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure, I guess the clarification was everyone who was asked. So I appreciate, Mr. Thornton, I appreciate you taking the time to explain your point. Thank you. Are there any questions of commissioners? Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you. I did submit a letter that explained my concern. If I had an opportunity to take a couple of minutes to speak on that, I would appreciate that.
You did submit a letter?
Yes, I did.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Yes, the letter was included with the packet I sent you, the first one.
Oh, the first, right. Okay, very good. Yeah, Mr. Thornton, please go ahead. We'll give you a couple moments to address that if there's something different or a follow-up.
Not necessarily. I have been at hearings like this before. It's been a while, and I'm not sure of the entire protocol. Is that letter something that is read here, or
No, letters that are submitted are part of the record, so they go into the public hearing portion, and they're not actually read into it, but they are included in the minutes and with the documentation. So you are on record, and then your notes and comments would be included as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I take a couple of moments to speak on my letter?
Please, sir.
Thank you. First of all, I love this idea. I love the idea of what is going on there, and I am very supportive of it. My concern is not necessarily a traffic concern, but more a concern that has to do with a nature in the neighborhood that's been causing concern between other businesses in the area. That letter explains that my focus is mainly around comments from the engineering report, a comment from Thomas Drain, who is the chair of NACT, and comments from Kevin Teeter, who is the executive director of the BDA. My letter concerns points that they made inside the staff report for this issue, TC 808. Since I submitted my letter, I've been able to connect with other areas of leadership within the City of Beaverton and the associations. All of those people that I had mentioned, I had conversations with. I also reached out to Lorraine Clarno and Kirsten Agard, who's the chair of the BDA, asking for advice on the best way to approach a situation that, as noted in the engineering report, this part of this program is to help support local businesses, while execution of part of this program seems to be creating an alienating nature. I also connected with Cadence Petros, who is the development division manager for the city. I mean, I had a fantastic conversation with her. I feel very optimistic about moving forward. The reason I wanted to speak on this, as opposed to just submitting my letter, is because we did have a really good conversation, and she has committed to working with me and other local businesses to demonstrate transparency through the process of the voting or the approval, non-approval of the businesses along the street, and funding options for any kind of maintenance that's offered. And I'm very optimistic that we will make progress through that, and start working more towards fostering a different kind of a relationship within the businesses in downtown. I'm supportive of all of them, and the reason I'm here is because I feel really uncomfortable being here, but I'm willing to make myself uncomfortable for my local business owners, in support of transparency and fairness through the process. So thank you very much. That's all I have to say about that.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Mr. Thornton. Are there any questions from Commissioner? All right, and again, I do appreciate your time. Thank you for taking part in, this is a difficult time. It's difficult to take time and be involved in it, and to do it in this environment right now is admirable. Thank you very much. Stephanie, next up.
Lauren Reese.
Lauren Reese, please. And again, if you would do the same thing, your name, address, whether you represent yourself or someone, and whether you're for or against the motion.
Hi, I'm Lauren Reese. I represent Lionheart Coffee Company. I own it with my husband, Ben. We are at 4590 Southwest Watson, right there on the corner of First and Watson. And we are for the closure of First Street. Did I catch all the points?
Yes. Thank you.
Late in the day, my brain isn't working quite as well. All right, Mr. Chair, is it okay if I proceed with my statement?
Yes, please.
All right. Members of the Beaverton Traffic Commission, thank you for the opportunity to provide public testimony in support of the temporary street closure at First and Watson in downtown Beaverton. As I said, I'm Lauren Reese. We own Lionheart Coffee Company, and we couldn't be prouder to live, work, and play in Beaverton. First and foremost, I want to thank the City of Beaverton for their innovative and practical support of businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic. On May 12th, the city held a call with Beaverton restaurant owners to gather information on what help and support was needed for restaurants to survive during the COVID-19 pandemic. Outdoor dining was a main topic of that discussion, including the potential of street closures to accommodate expanded outdoor seating. At that time, the city stated that they would love to explore the idea of a street closure, but needed a local business partner to administrate the program. Lionheart Coffee Company immediately stepped up as a partner because, one, we wanted to help provide a space for ourselves and our neighbors to safely serve our customers outdoors. Two, it logistically made sense because we had the longest hours on the street and our location on the street were right there at the corner. Immediately after that meeting, the city started developing the open air Beaverton recovery program that allowed the restaurant community to apply to expand their outdoor dining opportunities into the public right away. And at that same time, Lionheart, alongside partners at the City of Beaverton, Beaverton Downtown Association, and the Central Beaverton Neighborhood Association Committee got to work on the logistics of closing First Street between Watson and Washington. After many hours of hard work, the First Street Dining Commons opened in early July. As with everything during COVID, there is no one-size-fits-all solution to help restaurants weather this storm. Patrons have differing levels of risk acceptance, and restaurants have varying operational constraints. And then there's always the ever-changing restrictions and guidance for helping to keep our community safe. The multi-pronged approach of having restaurants with their individual expanded outdoor dining areas as well as a public common area is a great approach to be able to serve our community in several ways that accommodates the varying needs during this time. For example, some people are comfortable with table service outdoor at their favorite restaurant. Others are more comfortable getting takeout and bringing it into an open air area. And the open air Beaverton strategy accommodates both perfectly. The First Street Dining Commons is a thriving plaza. I love walking out there on a Thursday night and seeing families sitting together and enjoying food from Biggs, Chicken, Ex Novo, A Fury, all at the same table. I love watching people discover Top Burmese for the first time and recommending it to people that are passing by. I love the information sharing that's happening between all of the restaurants in the street. I think this has brought us very close together, and a lot of us are sharing information more than ever because we're sharing this space on First Street. As this is the Traffic Commission, I want to address the traffic pattern differences and our observations. To date, we at Lionheart Coffee haven't gotten any complaints about parking, which is rare. This might be due to the decrease in the general patron traffic in downtown, but we were worried about eliminating the street parking spaces on First, and it doesn't seem to us to have charged a major issue. However, we're aware that there might be complaints about parking that we aren't hearing, so we are sure to highlight the great public parking options available a couple blocks away. Also, with the elimination of parking on the west side over by DeCarly, as well as eliminating that left turn lane, we have noticed that there is so much less horn honking and general bad traffic behavior that's happening at that intersection, and cars are generally driving slower, which is a nice side effect of everything. And also, we are very much appreciative of the increased signage pointing to the public parking opportunities, and many of our customers have been taking advantage of that. This street closure and the continuation of the First Street Dining Commons is essential to the survival of restaurants in downtown Beaverton. Lionheart's proud to partner with the city for this open air dining opportunity with the closure of the street. And we want to see this closure extended through October 31st and would love to discuss options of a longer closure through the winter so that we continue this vital program. Thank you for your time.
Excellent. Thank you, Lauren. Appreciate your time and coming down and talking about everything. Just a couple of questions, I think, real quick. So to put some into perspective, the difference in the, and not to put you on the spot, but the difference you would say from your experience in the percentage of business that you have now versus what it was pre?
You know, it varies every week. I would say we are on average down about 30 to 40%. At worst, we're down 60%. Best, we're down 20%. But we are down quite a ways. And I know every business kind of varies a little bit. But once we opened the outdoor dining, we saw an almost immediate uptick. And I would say that I've talked about it with our neighbors at A Fury and Biggs and Holable, and they've also kind of experienced the same uptick.
Right, and that's where I was kind of going with that. When the mobile table idea was floated last summer or last spring, there were a couple of businesses that were very concerned about the fact that they were losing even a couple of parking spots to put in something that was going to move around. They didn't really understand. They thought it was a patio cart. So if business increases, I don't want to say a reasonable level, but if as it begins to increase, as things begin to open up, do you see a potential issue with more businesses that are not that don't need that area, or what if you reach saturation point on that?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for the rest of my partners or my business neighbors, but for us, one of the byproducts of this is I think a lot of people didn't realize that there was a public lot so close to downtown. And once those signs went in that showed where the parking was down there, it made a big difference in people's perception of where they could park. And so that has been beneficial to us. But as far as like, are we worried that it's going to get so busy down there that, it turns into either a safety or a traffic issue? I'm not worried about that right now, I guess, if that helps answer your question.
Okay, well, yeah, I think that's one of the things commission has to consider when we look at what's going on. I think part of it is like the food court. The food court already is dealing with what they're doing with parking, and I think that issue has been kind of mitigated with the fact that obviously the Performing Arts Center isn't going to open anytime soon, so the parking lot over there isn't the issue. But it seems to be kind of, I don't want to say unpatrolled, but have you discussed ways that you're going to take care of the number of people coming in and out? I'm asking that with the way that cars would be, if the lines become long enough or the area becomes saturated enough, will people, I think, as one commissioner noted earlier, you kind of queue up and drop them off. I get you to the front of the line. Go get in line right now and I'll park. Do you see that as a potential? Have you discussed that at all?
I'll be honest with you. I don't see it as a potential. I think traffic is down so much right now. I don't see that as a, even at our busiest time, I don't see people lining up to be able to get to the restaurants down there. And the other thing that kind of help mitigates that right now is the way that restaurants are operating. A lot of us are doing mobile ordering. A lot of us are doing, delivery sort of thing. And that also limits the physical traffic. But yeah, I guess I'm struggling a little bit with your question just because I just think that the traffic is so down right now. I think we were in normal times. I think this is definitely something that we would worry about.
Okay.
But during COVID times, the traffic is down that much.
Okay, and then was there a discussion about where the pickup drop-off would take place for people like the different businesses that do the delivery service for you? Not necessarily yours, I guess. Since you spearheaded, I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Were there discussions about people that did? I did the takeout that has the company pick up and deliver for me.
Sure. Yeah. Like the Grubhub drivers and the Postmates drivers and things like that. A lot of them come into our shop. A lot of them come into the shops. I haven't heard from any of them that they've had trouble finding parking.
Okay. All right. Questions of other commissioners? Again, if I miss anybody, I only have some people showing in view. Others are kind of blocked. Okay. Seeing none then. Thank you. Appreciate that, Lauren. Very much. Appreciate you taking the time and answering some of the questions. Definitely didn't mean to put you on the spot, but since you spearheaded this, I thought we'd start with you. So thank you.
No, all is fair. Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Stephanie, we have one more, I believe you said?
We actually have two more. David Anderson.
Okay. Mr. Anderson? Mr. Anderson.
David, you're muted. Still muted.
Stephanie, could you unmute him, please?
I'm showing that he is unmuted.
Is there, how many people do we have? I only see 9 right now on my screen. I believe it doesn't rotate. I see a couple of comments. My browser shows unmuted.
Yeah, mine shows unmuted for him also. He's saying that his browser shows unmuted as well.
We had a 4th person?
Yeah, Neil Fernando.
Okay, I think what we can do, the reason I'm asking is what I'd like to do is perhaps David could, can he exit and then come back in and see if there's a technical, or is that helped in the past? Sometimes there's a different connection.
We could try that, or I could have him call my cell phone.
It says he's trying a new login.
He just tried logging in under a separate computer.
Okay.
I added him in.
All right.
Oh,
Can you hear me
there
now?
he is. We can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear you, David.
My apologies for that interruption. I'm sorry. This is one reason why I'm trying to get away from a tech job. Members of the commission, thank you for your time tonight. The reason for me contacting you is that I'm a business owner. I am one of the co-owners of Syndicate Wine Bar. The address is 12620 Southwest 1st Street in Beaverton. And my position regarding TC 808 is that I am against the closure. I did submit a letter earlier this week to the commission. I understand it is a matter of record. I'm wondering if I could ask for your approval for me to read that letter now as part of my testimony this evening.
So one question on that, sir. Is it different than the email we have received on August 2nd, at 11:53?
It is the same email. I wish to submit some clarifications to that, because in the letter that I submitted, I didn't have a firm position in terms of for or against closure.
Okay, and you are representing yourself or the business?
I'm representing the business. I'm one of the co-owners of Syndicate Wine Bar.
Correct. I just want to make sure. Okay. All right, please, sir.
Do I have your permission to read the letter, or just
Yes,
the revision?
please. Oh, no, we can.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is David Anderson. My wife, Angela, and I co-own and manage Syndicate Wine Bar. We are located across from First Street Commons and have a front row seat to the goings-on there. Having witnessed numerous alcohol-related infractions occurring at First Street Commons, we communicated our concerns to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission, also known as the OLCC. We were informed of the following. On July 16th, 2020, OLCC met with the owners of Lionheart Coffee to discuss responsibilities and obligations pertaining to First Street Commons. Following that meeting, Lionheart Coffee voluntarily withdrew its liquor license for the extension into the First Street Commons. Since that time, responsibilities for alcohol consumption occurring there have become the sole responsibility of the City of Beaverton. I notified the city of this information, but even as of this evening have not really received any further clarification. So my questions to the city were, why is the city permitting consumption of alcohol in an unregulated public space? Why is the city exposing itself to liabilities and lawsuits that may arise as a result of alcohol-related infractions occurring there? And why does the city feel it appropriate to subject adjacent alcohol licensees to unnecessary risks stemming from the unregulated and unmonitored consumption of alcohol at the First Street Commons? We seek a safe, compliant, and responsible downtown for the benefit of all. Until the First Street Commons is again monitored and managed by an alcohol licensee, we ask the city declare it an alcohol-free zone. Understanding that the meeting this evening is regarding a for or against the closure of First Street, I felt that I wanted to come here and offer my testimony, and that to clarify my position against the closure of First Street is based on its current state of management and monitoring. When it comes to matters of alcohol compliance and regulation, we first report to the OLCC, not the City of Beaverton. In a phone call with the OLCC on August 5th, we were informed that this space is still unlicensed and still entirely the city's liability. Knowing the space is operated without an active alcohol license creates an unacceptable risk to our business and others nearby. It also presents a risk to our customers, and we cannot in good faith recommend any of our customers to the Commons for alcohol consumption as it is an unlicensed public space. Having witnessed and reported several infractions, we're now having to allocate staff payroll to additionally monitor the boundaries of our own premise to watch for infractions. Last night, we were even asked to clean the commons by someone that walked over from there. We are not wanting to shut down any business in First Street or the downtown. And I want to say that again. We need every business down there to succeed. We're simply asking that the space be held to the same compliance standards and regulations that we and all other alcohol vendors in the area are currently held by the OLCC. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. So you, as a clarification, you are saying that if the city were to either monitor or take care of that, that you would be in favor of it, but right now you're against it because of the OLCC concerns.
That is correct, sir. At present, it is essentially any consumption occurring there is the same as walking down the street and consuming in public. And we were further informed by OLCC in a letter this past week that they are not handing out and issuing any special event permits. So even if the city of Beaverton wanted to declare it a space, such as like a beer garden or something like that, the OLCC is not going to do that for anyone in the state right now. So the only solution would be for another alcohol licensee to apply to extend their license into that space.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any questions of Commission? All right. We'll take a look at those and consider that. Thank you. I appreciate your time, sir. All right, Stephanie, we had one more person you said?
Yes, Neil Fernando.
All right, now we're ready. Neil Fernando.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, commissioners. Thank you for your time. I'm a resident, longtime resident of Beaverton and a business owner as well. And I am in full support of closing the street in front of the businesses on First. For various reasons. One, it brings a lot of community and we've been able to go down as a family and enjoy the outdoors. And mainly for me as a business owner, it has given me a place to bring my clients and grab a cup of coffee or lunch or whatever the case might be and just be able to be 6 feet apart and be outside. I can't think of another place that I can do that during the day for a business meeting. So I really have appreciated the fact that it's open and that street is closed. Even at Lionheart, if I buy a cup of coffee, there's no place to sit. So this has been a joy just to be able to be outside. Secondly, I have a quick question for Jabra. From a traffic perspective, is there any way you could bring the barricade on Washington about 30 feet in and create some head-in parking? We can probably create 5 spaces maybe. Would that be an option? But I'll just leave that with you guys and thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. One question as a follow-up now. You are a business owner, but you are not a business owner in that affected area?
That is correct. My business is on Allen.
Okay, and you were not asked by the city to make a comment either way as Mr. Thornton was?
That is correct.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just a frequent.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
All right, are there questions of commission? All right then, seeing none then, I believe, Stephanie, there's no one else. Those are the 4.
That's correct.
Perfect, thank you. With that in mind, then we will close public hearing portion. Mr. Khasho?
Yes, sir.
Any comments to follow?
Yeah, I have a few comments. The reason, First Street was chosen to be closed, first thing, it doesn't carry that much traffic. I mean, the east side, east of Watson, it carries around 1,200 vehicles per day. I mean, we have local streets in residential areas that carries more than this. West of Watson, it goes up with 100 vehicles, so it's 1,300 on the other side. That's why we chose first. You know, it's got lots of possibilities for closure, and you know, it could be a festival street if you want to make it festival street without an impact on traffic circulation or movement. There was one comment about could we have head-on parking at the end by Washington? I'm going to say sorry, we cannot have this. The reason why is we have to show the barricade and the street closure sign. This is a requirement from the manual and uniform traffic control devices. So we have to follow those procedures. We cannot block the signs. Plus, we have to keep that area where the barricade is in case an emergency vehicle needs to come in, we can move it and let them in. So for those reasons, yeah, we cannot have the head-on parking. And I just want to remind the commissioners that this body only deals with traffic issues. We don't deal with other, you know, rules or regulations in the city. So our focus on this issue should be on the traffic portion and the street closure only. So there was some testimony, you know, regarding some violation of the Oregon Liquor Commission rules, and so we cannot get into these to make the decision on the street closure. I just want to make it clear. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Khasho. One question is a follow-up on that, though, not related to some of the other discussions that they had. Traffic enforcement, the parking enforcement, the queuing issues. I've heard direct and indirect comment about the parking. I've seen it firsthand. What's the plan from the police department? And was there considerations? I didn't really see. I know we've had some temporary. I know this is going on now, and the city is asking the traffic commission to do an extension. So I guess my question is, have there been concerns about traffic? Have there been actual formal reports or questions, comments, complaints?
From the engineering side, we have not received any complaints regarding the parking or queuing. I mean, even before the closure, sometimes people will drop off people, you know, they'll stop in the through lane on Watson and drop people off. Now, since the street is closed and where that crosswalk is, sometimes cars pull in to drop people off. It doesn't bother anyone. You know, they'll drop and they'll continue on. Me personally, you know, I've been watching it. I haven't seen any, you know, issue that raise any concerns at this time. As traffic picks up, we will continue to monitor and see what happens. If it gets to a point where we need to do something different, we'll increase enforcement at that location, potentially, if we have a problem. But at this time, I don't see any issues.
And Ernie, also from the police department, I haven't received any complaints that I'm aware of from anything. So we would monitor as well. And if we noticed any problems or had reports of problems, then we would increase education or enforcement.
Excellent. Thank you, Sergeant Chair. Appreciate that. Jabra, one more question. This would go until this would go for basically the time you had, so 3 months through the end of October to Halloween. Is there anything that would change this in the interim between now and the reevaluation period. I know that you said if the crisis continues or there are circumstances for the state or whatever options would happen that would follow through, that you would ask for an extension in October. Is there anything though that would cause the city to stop the program between now and then?
I don't see any at this time, because the council adopted that ordinance and the sunset time for the ordinance is October, the end of October. So regardless what happens statewide, we could still continue the program. But the end of October, if still the state is insisting on social distancing, which I feel is probably going to be the case, so we will ask for extension then.
Okay, thank you. Are there other questions of commission? And I think for the record, there are a couple of comments I think Mr. Thornton made, and also I believe that Mr. Anderson made as well. So make sure to read those as well. Other comments, considerations? That in mind, then we would close.
Wait. So I just need to say for the record that I am the vice chair of the Beaverton Downtown Association, but I did not for them vote one way or the other on that letter that was sent.
Thank you, Paul. All right, with that in mind, then.
Question. Sorry.
Yes, Vice Chair.
Radomski. Question for Jabra. How will the program be evaluated, and will it be extended to other streets and other restaurants? And if so, when would that happen? Because if we wait till October 31st, a lot of those businesses will be out of business.
I cannot comment on this, so I'm going to ask Ms. Braunsten to try to answer this question because she's involved with the program more than I do. So, Megan, could you please?
Of course. Megan Braunsten. I work with Community Development Department. I am a development project manager. The answer to, so the Open Air Beaverton program has two wings. One, closing down on-street parking, such as those in front of Ex Novo or Syndicate or Raindrop. And then it also authorized the street closure that you're currently looking at. Currently, this is the only street that has applied for closure. Technically, other streets could apply. However, the program language states that it would be very rare should the program team who evaluates approve, and ultimately then it would come to you. So we don't anticipate that any other streets would be closed before October 31st. To be fair, as I believe Jabra has already stated, we have already heard multiple requests from various parties about exploring expansion beyond October 31st. But as Jabra stated earlier, I do believe it has to go before City Council and then this body to do so, and would have a larger public process.
Okay, thank you.
As a follow-up to that, thank you. As a follow-up to that, would that the extension of the program is an extension of like more locations, or this one extending longer?
The current request that we've received is this one extending longer, specifically for First Street Dining Commons, which is the name of the First Street closure. It's currently open for applications for the on-street parking, so anyone can still apply should they wish. At this point, since it's only available in downtown, we believe we've exhausted most of the restaurants that would be interested in using the parking right outside of their business.
All right, excellent, thank you. Mr. Vice Chair McClean?
Yes, thank you. I don't have any questions. Just wanted to share, thanks to everyone for submitting the written testimony and attending today. I'm strongly in favor of this. I think this is a good first start. It's a temporary closure, and there might be some learning curves with anything that's new for the first time, but I'm strongly in favor of this. I don't think it will affect traffic. There's detours around, and when there is congestion, it's very minimal. It's not all the time, and there's still ample parking nearby that's convenient for customers. So I'm strongly in favor. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Are there other comments? We are now closing the public hearing portion, and we'll consider this to be the board deliberation. So or Vice Chair McClean was the first deliberation on there.
Chairman, I have a question. Melissa?
Yes, Commissioner Bobadilla.
Thank you. I had a follow-up for Ms. Braunsten. So she mentioned that when they apply, other streets can apply. Is it the businesses that come and apply, or is it the city that chooses the streets for the businesses to apply? How's that working?
Technically, it is a business that needs to apply. So in this case, Lionheart is the permit holder for an open air Beaverton permit.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I don't get the hand icon, so apologies for missing that. A couple of people still not showing up on the video, so difficult to tell. Are there other comments from other commissioners? All right. With that, then one other thing I think is a follow-up to Vice Chair McClean. Beaverton's kind of innovative. We do a lot of unique things. We experiment. Some things work, some things don't. I think this traffic commission has already seen some things have worked well and have moved on. Some things have come back around, and we've had to renegotiate and realign. I think given all the situations that I think this is an experiment worth following through on. Though I do have some concerns about the increase in traffic since the latest updates. I think the phase 2, phase 3 things will be interesting to see how those impact. I do see and notice some other queuing issues in other parts of the city. I would like to see a full recap when we come back in October if this does pass. Because I think that we've already seen some questions and concerns and comments about things outside of the Traffic Commission, but I think as a whole, this is one of those that also needs to be considered at a holistic view, not just the traffic part, although for a first beginning, I think we're open to trying to experiment. I appreciate Megan working with the business owners trying to come up with some viable solutions. It is interesting, the difference in approach this year versus last year when there were discussions about parking, and it was a extremely different perception, and I'll leave it at that. With that in mind, then we would entertain a motion to approve with changes, or deny the motion. Commissioner Vice Chair McClean?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve TC 808 as written.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Second by, sorry?
Mr. Henderson.
Commissioner Henderson, thank you. Final discussion? All those in favor? Sorry, we'll have to go through there again. Commissioner, and did I see a note that Mr. Brown had joined?
He was having trouble getting logged in because he has a Mac. I saw that he tried to join. I added him, but I'm not sure if he's actually here.
Okay, yeah, I saw that note too. I just wanted to double check if there was an option. Commissioner Brown? Okay, with that in mind, then we'll continue. Commissioner Henderson? This is a roll call. Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
For or against, sir? We're in final roll call now.
Aye.
Oh,
Can you
I
hear me?
think
Yeah,
I got it now.
sorry.
All right. Commissioner Cohn,
Yes.
Vice Chair McClean,
Yes.
Commissioner Bobadilla,
Yes.
Commissioner Bansky,
Yes.
and Chair Conway, aye. The motion passes 6-0. Thank you, everyone, for your time on that part. Okay, so next, where's my and we've got someone making some noise there on there. All right, next up then, is there any old business, Mr. Khasho?
One thing, the crosswalk and flashing rectangular rapid beacon was installed on 173rd Avenue, north of Walker Road. After the installation, we received many compliments from residents who live in the area. They like it, and it's working fine.
Okay. Thank you. Any other old business?
No, that's all I have.
Okay. Is there any new business from anyone? Okay. I do have one question, concern, not sure where we go, Mr. Khasho, and that is with the increase in basically with the phase 1 Washington County, traffic has increased quite a bit. I see 217 is almost back to its usual self. 26 is getting that way. I've also noticed that some of the businesses that have drive-through are beginning to queue up into the street when they are not designed for the current situation. And I've seen a couple of places that are queuing actually out into the street. I know that there were concerns from some of the drive-through coffees that this was things that shouldn't be, you know, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And now there are certain scenarios where this seems to be picking up as traffic begins to grow and people feel a little more comfortable going out. Is there anything the city is doing to, are there going to be follow-ups, or are we addressing it with business owners? I know that we've pointed some people, pointed them out, sorry.
Yeah, it's really tough during this time. Yeah, we know you cannot sit in, so basically people now are choosing to drive and go through the drive-through. It is challenging. Some areas, you know, if the drive-through is close to an arterial street, it will create a problem if the traffic volume is picking up on that arterial. But on local streets, you know, and collectors, I don't see it as much of a problem as on very busy streets. I mean, at this time, there is nothing we can do. So we have to keep monitoring. And if the problem becomes a safety problem, and let's say we start having crashes, we could do enforcement. You know, we could ask the police to monitor and enforce lane blockage. Before we do this, probably we will be working with the business owners, and maybe they can circulate the traffic through the parking lot. That's one option too, where you could increase the queue. But so far, we haven't received any complaints about it yet. I don't know if Steve got any, or I'm not sure that they did.
Yeah, we've had a couple incidences that we've addressed, mostly with education with the business owners. One was, what's the donut place on Cornell?
Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, I should know that, right? Krispy Kreme decided to give out a dozen donuts to every graduate of 2020. And you can imagine what that did. It was backed up all the way to the freeway. Yeah, Jabra got a call. But we ended up like makeshifting a lane of traffic basically, and taking that right lane and coning it and creating like a chute for them. We've had a few calls and we've addressed with the management at Burgerville on Allen and 92nd. They seem to be doing a booming business, but overall, like Jabra said, in these times, you know, it's pretty tough to go and like really be tough and enforce with this stuff when we could, you know, try to do the education. So we might be a little bit looser than we would be in normal times.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just wondered overall what the feeling was, because there definitely have been some. It's a different, I don't want to say a different scenario, but it definitely is a different situation right now, because a lot of the drive-ins that usually were not busy or didn't, you know, they seemed busy, but now they really are busy. So thank you. Appreciate that. I believe that is the last part. Mr. Khasho, is there September items coming up?
We're planning to cancel the September meeting, but in October we'll be back with some speed zoning issues. We're looking at reducing the speed on a couple of streets since ODOT adopted a new methodology to set speed limits. So we got many requests for 173rd Avenue between Walker and Cornell. It's posted 40, and residents always complain about the speeding there. So using the previous methodology, it never made it, you know, through ODOT that they will reduce the speed. So now with the new one, it has a chance. So we're gonna revisit this. Another one is Watson Avenue. The businesses requested extending the 20 miles per hour zone. Currently, there is a 20 miles per hour zone from Canyon Road all the way to 3rd Street. They requested to extend this potentially up to 5th. So we're gonna do a speed studies and to see if it has a chance to do this. Other streets we're looking at also Denny Road, west of 217, it's posted 35, and it has a chance maybe to be posted 30. So we're gonna take a look at that one too. Lombard Avenue also is one between Allen and Denny. Currently is posted 35. So we're gonna study those streets and see if it meets the threshold for the speed to be reduced, and if it does, we'll bring it to the commission.
All righty, thank you. Okay, any other final comments, anyone?
I do, Commissioner.
Commissioner
Chairman. Sorry, Chairman. Jabra, regarding those potential those studies that are going to be coming around, are we going to be able to maybe have a comparison with maybe last year's numbers? Well, my concern is this year's numbers may not necessarily be accurate if you're just basing them on, let's say, the next 2 months.
Yeah, typically when you do a speed study, the traffic volumes does not affect the speed. But yeah, the volumes.
The volume of cars usually can affect the speed. I don't know. I mean, you tell me.
No, the volume will, if the volume reduced, but still drivers will be driving what they always drive. So it doesn't matter, the speed will be the same from last year to this year. If we have any data available, we'll compare the two. Yeah. But we don't anticipate that the speed will change due to the drop in volume. And, if you look at the traffic volume in August, beginning of August, it picked up late July, early August, it picked up then from early July.
Okay.
So I'm sure the speeds will be very close to last year. But if we have data, we will compare the two. The thing is, it's not just what we do. Let's say we bring the issue to the commission and it gets approved. ODOT will do their own study too. So they'll come back and look at the crashes, look at the speed, look at the features of the street before they decide on how, the speed should be. But with the current methodology, it's based on context. So how the street looks like. If it's residential, yeah, it will warrant reducing the speed. Potentially, some people will be upset about it, but actually it will enforce the land use, that this is a residential area and you have to drive slower than what we always do. So there is some merit for this new methodology. Yeah, it doesn't apply everywhere, but still they will be basing it on the 50th percentile speed, which is 50% of the drivers drive at or below this speed. Before it used to be the 85th.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, then we'll look forward to hearing from that paperwork and everything in October. So for now, it sounds like we won't be around. We'll wait for the official notice though. Nothing else to do then. We are officially adjourned. Thank you everyone for your time. Stephanie, appreciate it. Time is now 8:20. And thank you everyone for taking part, and appreciate everyone hanging out. We're not sure all our visitors are here or not, so if they were, thank you for taking part in the process.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your work today.
Yeah, thank you, and stay healthy and safe.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Hi, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, Jabra. Good job.
Thank you.
How does the signing work? You'll mail it again?
Yeah, we will
Yes,
mail it.
we'll mail it.
Tomorrow.
All right, and then I'll just, yeah, I got it back the next day. As soon as I got it, I think I get it in. It only takes a day to get here, send it right back the next day.
Yeah,
All right.
as long as you have today's date on it, that's what counts.
Right, okay, very good. All right.
And we'll be back to Zoom in October, so it'll be easier.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Bye.